How are you going to take on the corporate interests? All the money you took are from the corporations who sent all our jobs overseas.
Last night was another debate between Democrat Tim Ryan and Republican JD Vance for the Senate seat in Ohio. And I got some highlights. So before I get to this big exchange over an update to the ass-kissing discussion, I want to show you the update in polling here. So this is the 538's weighted polling average showing how even this race is. So right now they have JD Vance up by 0.2%, a very close race, meaning everything counts. Everything matters in this race, meaning this debate could have some effect on this race. So let me get to the first clip that I want to share here. And this is an update to the last discussion, or the last debate's discussion around JD Vance kissing Trump's ass.
Mr. Vance, Congressman Ryan has called you Donald Trump's ass kisser. The implication being you will pay any price for the endorsement and support of the former president who publicly insulted you in Youngstown. To prove the congressman wrong and to show Ohio voters that you are your own man, I would like you to identify one issue that Mr. Trump is wrong about and therefore deserving of public criticism.
Well, look, I disagree with the president on a number of things. He's a friend of mine, of course, and I'm proud to have his endorsement. But look, the thing that was wrong about the Trump administration is they put a lot of people in the administration, a lot of bad personnel folks who actually advocated limitless, nonstop wars that would mean a lot of folks from Mahoning Valley and a lot of folks from where I grew up would have to go off and fight those wars. A guy like John Bolton, for example, should have never been national security advisor in the Trump administration.
All right, so I have two more clips coming up, and that includes, of course, Tim Ryan's response. But first here, time to do some bullshit debunking. So this is how much defense the defense industry spends on each party. You see here, yes, as I've discussed in the past, both parties are in bed with the defense industry, with defense contractors. Yet Republicans still take more money, 54% to 45%. JD Vance, his, criticism here of Trump is accurate, is a good one to have, except for the fact that he is running in this party. One man, one senator cannot all of a sudden change the direction of the entire party. This party, his party, takes a lot more and is more pro-war than the Democratic Party. So to try and make a correct populist criticism of these endless wars is fine, but to do so as a Republican is ridiculous. Now, also on that point, under Donald Trump, drone strikes far exceeded Obama's numbers. So there is a lot of information about this, including this from Truthout. In fact, a recent Air Wars report suggests that Trump may have ordered more attacks in Yemen than all previous U.S. presidents combined, with anywhere between 86 to 154 civilians killed. And also, when Biden took over, U.S. military strikes fell 54% in the first year compared to Trump's last. And Trump's last year, by the way, John Bolton was not around. So you can't be like, personnel issues. No, Trump was the problem. Yes, of course, people around Trump also the problem. But considering this happened under the entirety of Trump's term, it isn't just a personnel issue. So again, going to this being a problem with the Republican Party and not just a problem with some people around Donald Trump. But now let me get to the rest of his answer here, and then we'll get to Tim Ryan's response.
Let me address Tim Ryan's point and your question there. Donald Trump told a joke. He told a joke at a rally based on a false New York Times story, and Tim Ryan has decided to run his entire campaign on it. Now look, Tim Ryan is publicly out there on national television saying, "I love Nancy Pelosi." A few months ago, he went before a national audience and said that he has to suck up and kiss up to Chuck Schumer. The guy who's subservient to the national party is Tim Ryan, who's been begging for these guys to come into this race and save him from the campaign that he's been running. So look, it's ridiculous for him to accuse me of being anything, because he has utterly failed to be independent to represent this valley, and he will utterly fail to represent the people of Ohio if he's elected to the United States Senate.
So just so I get this straight, when the former president said, JD is kissing my ass because he wants my support, you took that as a joke?
I know the president very well, and absolutely, he was joking about a New York Times story.
Oh, was he? I will get to that in a second here, and then I'll get to Tim Ryan's response, which is fantastic. But yeah, let's address this bullshit. So this is, by the way, this is how I've seen some conservatives online defend this. Oh, look, yes, see, Trump was joking. Trump was joking. Kissing JD Vance has been kissing, or that JD Vance has been kissing his ass. Yeah, a joke at JD Vance's expense, because the New York Times piece didn't say that JD Vance was kissing Trump's ass. In fact, it was saying the opposite. And Trump made this comment in response to that. So as they write here, Donald Trump joked that JD Vance has been kissing his ass and suggested that the populist Senate candidate had great admiration for him, despite saying very negative things about the former president of the past. Trump's comments came at a Save America rally in Ohio. He was critiquing what he called a quote-unquote fake story in the New York Times that argued Senate candidates in swing states were trying to distance themselves from Trump at their rallies. Quote, and then the New York Times did a fake story today, big front page, that JD wasn't sure if he wanted my support, Trump scoffed. JD is kissing my ass. He wants my support. So he was not like referencing a New York Times article that was, saying that JD Vance was kissing Trump's ass. No, it was saying the opposite. It was claiming that some of these candidates were trying to distance themselves from Trump because they were that Trump would hurt them. Trump came out and said, no, in fact, JD Vance is kissing my ass because he wants my support. So this defense that JD Vance has is just, it's bullshit. These people are such liars. All right, let's get to the next clip here, where Tim Ryan has a great response to this.
I would like you to point to an issue that Speaker Pelosi has totally bungled and therefore deserves public repudiation.
Well, let me just first say that this is obviously a clip that JD is running to try to misrepresent people. I ran against Nancy Pelosi, JD, for leadership. And you have to have the courage to take on your own leaders. These leaders in D.C.
Why don't you vote against them?
They will eat you up like a chew toy, right? I mean, you were calling Trump America's Hitler. Then you kissed his ass.
Not true.
It is true. And then you kissed his ass, and then he endorsed you. And you said he's the greatest president of all time. Mitch McConnell gave you $40 million to prop up your campaign. Peter Thiel gave you $15 million. That's $55 million, JD. What do you think they want for that? They want your loyalty. And you proved that you'll kiss their ass too. And look, it's nothing personal. I'm just telling you, like, I've been in this business. It's tough business. If you think you're going to help Ohio, you're not. If you can't even stand up for yourself, how are you going to stand up for the people of the state? How are you going to take on the corporate interests? All the money you took are from the corporations who sent all our jobs overseas. Peter Thiel, $15 million, buddy. What do you think he wants?
All right, so there are a couple things to add more context to here, including the Tim Ryan, Nancy Pelosi stuff, as well as JD Vance calling Trump America's Hitler. But before I get there, I just want to mention that it's good politics for Tim Ryan to attach JD Vance to corporations and bring up all this money that JD Vance is bringing in while pretending to be populist. So, it's very important to blow away this idea that any of these Republicans are actually populist. They're all fake populists. Like Trump was a fake populist, talking up a big game about, remember Trump's healthcare claim? Everyone's going to have healthcare. Oh, that healthcare plan is coming. It's coming. And then at one point, Kayleigh McEnany brought out like this big book during one of her interviews. Apparently that was a healthcare plan, but the pages were all blank. There was no healthcare plan. They talk a big game. They're all full of shit. And just like Tim Ryan here is calling out JD Vance for being full of shit, it's good that he's doing that. On the Pelosi, Tim Ryan stuff. So look, there are fair criticisms here. Tim Ryan has basically voted completely in line with Nancy Pelosi. He did, though, yes, challenge her for speaker in 2016, and then, raised questions about maybe doing it in 2018, but he didn't. So look, this is good, though it does appear that this was largely a political move, because when you vote with her 100% of the time, and then you challenge her speakership, why are you really challenging her? It's more about power and about the ability to eventually say in a debate like this that you challenge the establishment, when I guess you did technically, but you're not the most progressive individual or anyone that really challenges any policy. That said, the choice here is clear. If you're in Ohio, Tim Ryan, obviously, over JD Vance. JD Vance is just a complete phony. And on that point, here is Josh McLaurin. So he is a Democratic Georgia state representative and Vance's old college roommate. So this came out in 2022, so this year, but back in April. Writing here, the screenshot below is JD Vance's unfiltered explanation from 2016 of the breakdown in Republican politics that he now personally is trying to exploit. The America's Hitler bit is at the end. The public deserves to know the magnitude of this guy's bad faith. So you go on here, you can read through this whole text if you want, but he goes on to say, I go back and forth between thinking Trump is a cynical asshole like Nixon, who wouldn't be that bad and might even prove useful, or that he's America's Hitler. So I guess the defense here is, well, I didn't say he was America's Hitler. I said he was that, or he was a cynical asshole like Nixon. So that's the best defense he could possibly make if he, cares about reality and what he actually said. But going on to that point, Vance's team quickly went into damage control following that tweet. Quote, it's laughable that the media treats JD not liking Trump 6 years ago as some sort of breaking news when they've already covered it to death since this race began. And that was from JD Vance's campaign manager. So they weren't even denying at the time that JD Vance called Trump America's Hitler. Yet on stage during this debate, JD Vance denies that he said that. Going again to the complete dishonesty from JD Vance. This race is one to watch, considering how close it is, considering what this could mean for the Senate and for the future of Ohio. Definitely pay attention to this. And if you are in Ohio, make sure you go out to vote and bring people with you.